So so this week, all right, so this is good. So man, it's March 19th. It's close to like springtime. We're getting like vaccines. We are close to a norm. We are close to getting a normal. Things are like progressing in a good fashion, and surprisingly, things are becoming even more interesting, Chad. So we are going to be talking about what's been happening with EVO, or the FGC. And EVO just put out a statement. EVO put out, there were a lot of like news articles saying that Sony and RTS, right? It's RTS. I don't know who that is, but specifically Sony and that other company is buying EVO. They're partnering with EVO. And EVO 2021 is going to have their online tournament, same thing as EVO 2020 tournament that happened last year, but didn't happen because obviously reasons which I'll address and talk about. But in here, the EVO community put out a message to our community saying, not be possible, deeply grateful for your dedication over the past 25 years, challenging due to pandemic and circumstances around the cancellation of EVO Online involving a former member. We all know who, but we will talk about that. That's true. In order to deliver the trust that you all have past EVOs, we are thrilled to work with the teams at PlayStation and RTS to bring you EVO 2021 online this August. For more information on the event will follow. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you for your continued support, Tony and Tom Cannon. So, the main bottom line is, again, Sony has bought EVO, right? It has bought EVO, and now that like gives into more, speculation about what will happen with EVO, because EVO has always been the mainline FGC tournament for almost every kind of like popular fighting game that's been out there. We got the Tekkens, we got the SF5s, the Mortal Kombats, the Smashes, all kinds of like mainline fighting game tournaments show up here. We attend, or in the case that if you aren't able to go, watch the tournament from your homes and watch the spectacle. I remember I had to do the same when I first started streaming, and it was me watching the final matches, the final bracket days of EVO 2019, and it was me, Zin, and Leo who were here with me before COVID, obviously. And we were watching tournament after tournament, and I was like live reacting to it. Again, this was like my first time. This was like my first ever, streaming handlings. And we were watching BlazBlue, then SF5, then Tekken, then Smash. And we stayed up until like, I think we stayed up until like 2 in the morning or 3. Almost kind of considered like a sleepover at that point. We were all like joking around and saying like, and I think Leo was like, "Where's the mattresses? Let me get my sleeping bags." And they were sitting on the floor too. They were sitting on the floor, and I asked them like, "Yo, bros, you want like a comforter, or you want a blanket, or do you want like you want this pillow right here? Do you want this pillow? And they said like, nah, they're good. I'm like, bruh, come on. that shit wood floor is uncomfortable. But anyway, EVO has been a fun time for not just me, but to also all the other homies that watch with me, because I like fighting games. You know. I always love that. I don't usually watch Smash stuff because personally wise, Smash competitive play kind of bores me because it's very it's very restrictive on that stuff. You can watch my why I hate like Smash. I think it's like an older video of why I hate competitive Smash, watching it anyway. But yeah, I love like the other fighting games that EVO puts out. I love like the announcements and stuff like that. And when last year happened with EVO 2020, that happened, you know, with the pandemic and all the fucked up shit that's been going on internally with EVO staff, it didn't happen, right? EVO was like trying to push towards, you know, like we're trying to bypass the virus, but the virus was too strong. And that was like half the reason. The other half was like, you know, someone by a similar name as Captain Buzz, or whatever one you call it. He was a real jackass. He was a real dickhead. You know, that was like back in the day when his shit was like brought up. Then came like other allegations of what was happening in other communities around. Like it was not just Mr. Wizard, but also with the Smash community. And Smash community was all sorts of like effed up with 2 incidents, or a lot of incidents. I may not know sure because I don't follow the Smash FGC or the Smash community because I'm not that. But it was pretty, you know, fucked up. It was pretty fucked up. So that leads to like into question of like how this is going to be handled, or like if this like gives way to like maybe hosting an open tournament, you know, like an open venue for EVO, which I don't think it's not gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen because you know, this year, although we're getting like vaccines, and it could happen with limited capacity, you know, like limited capacity, but it's like fuck, I don't know if that's possible, right? I don't know if that's possible. We still want to be like safe as we possibly can, guys. You know, COVID is still around. That doesn't mean, you know, just because we're getting a vaccine, that means it's like it's 100% certain, or you know, 100% guaranteed that you're not gonna catch the virus. It just means that like, I think it's like better immunity, a better well, probably the same thing as what I said earlier, that you're not gonna get COVID. But it's only like 90 or 80% effective. It only addresses some things about the virus and not completely everything. It's not a miracle cure. It's just something that, like, you know, we want to push back to normalcy as much as we possibly can. But the thing is with COVID, right? With COVID, oh god, let me sip of my tea. With COVID, people are desperate to get back to like the things that they want in life, you know, intimacy, you know, like social interaction, you know, the way things were. But you know what? I was talking with mom about this, about like, you know, COVID stuff and like vaccine stuff, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, I brought up a good point, which is like, you know, even though we're getting like the vaccine, we still have to maintain like some of those normal boundaries that we have to put out for ourselves, you know. Maintain 6 feet and social distancing, put on a mask on, you know. Like, these are our new norms, and these new norms are good because back in the day, albeit like giant crowds of like woo shit like that, you know, it was fun, it was awesome, but we didn't like necessarily think about the consequences, you know. Like, who knows what not to be like, you know, germaphobe or something like that, but we have to be germaphobe. Who knows what kind of contaminants or viruses that other people outside of yourself or your family may have, you know. You don't know what's going on with other people's bodies or allergies, and you know, they may not wash their hands, or they may not be properly hygienic, or they may spit something that they may have a cold and they may transmit like a fucking disease, and you're not safe at all. You're not safe at all, right? Like, that's fucking why. That's fucking why would you even like do that to other people? I guess like even if you're cold or sick, you want to like be happy at the moment, you want to like live life, you want to enjoy the things that you like to do the most. If you're like a fighting game fan, and if you want, let's say, go to EVO, you fuck it, you want to say like fuck it, yeah, live and learn, fuck it, do it live or some shit like that. But that type of attitude is not very beneficial to our way of living, you know, now, right? With like COVID now being like a real ass, you know, real thing, right? It's not going away. It's not some like fictional disease. It's not something that could just like whew, like go away if you have like a vaccine. It's still there. There are still new variants that are being discovered, and people, scientists, health aid workers, nurses are still figuring out how to tackle these new types of strains of the virus. And you know, like I'm all down, again, like I'm all down for like bringing back like EVO and like bring back the fighting game hype, but do it in like in a safe and secure manner. Don't like risk it just because everybody wants to, you know, come back. EVO, like fighting games especially, has taught us the valuable lesson of like good online. Like, in order to fighting game to like succeed in life, you have to have not just like characters or not like graphical visuals. Graphical visuals are fluff, but mainly, you know, roster, who are the characters are going to be in it. But more importantly, if you want to be a fighter in a fighting game, of course you're allowed to like it. You're still a member of the FGC, even if you don't play fighting games a lot, or if you don't play online a lot. But the number one thing of a fighting game, if you are an FGC, if you are like a hardcore or just like an intermediate like myself, you want to test your skills online, right? You want to test your skills in like a clean, succinct manner. If you want to face someone in like Brazil or some shit, or Portugal or Europe, London, Scotland, anywhere if you want, that's like outside of your neighbor's fucking house. You want to try that. You want to try that connection and have it be running as the same as like your neighbor. But the problem is, most of our fighting games literally can't do that. Tekken, Street Fighter, Dragon Ball Fighters, Grand Blue Versus, to name a few. They do not have like the most adequate of online ever, because it's frame delay netcode. You know, frame delay netcode has always been the actually, let me move it over here. There you go, that's better. Frame delay netcode has always been like the dragging your ass and feet on like water, or like ball and chain, butt plugged on your ass. It's not a very good connection, man. Like, trust me, you guys see me, if you guys follow my YouTube, I put up like Samurai Showdown videos of me playing against people online. Sure, it was fun at the time because I was into Samurai Showdown, but then I felt the frame delay, I felt the lag of that game's netcode, and it was not fun. Just a lot of like stuttering, a lot of like freezing, tried to get out the next move, and it was just annoying as shit. Like I said, it makes me feel like I'm dragging my feet under on water. Or no, not water, what is it? Like underwater. Makes your movements completely slow down, completely chunked. You know? But luckily out of this, we got Rollback Netcode. It makes us appreciate some of the good games that have Rollback Netcode. And Rollback Netcode is like a better version of a fighting game netcode that's not frame delay netcode. It basically is like a preservation system of your fighting game frames. So when the matches continue on, the match is still trying to push for that match, but it's like a prediction system, right? It's trying to figure out your next move. So what if the game like stops it, like here, it's predicting the next few frames and then rolling it back for you. The most key distinction of Rollback Netcode is like characters teleporting. That's like the main thing about Rollback Netcode. But that's like a minor thing. But Rollback Netcode is like the God's given fighting game. We've seen this in Strive. We've seen this in Skullgirls. We've seen this in MK11, Marvel Infinite, Killer Instinct. Those games, albeit they were like low budget, well, MK11 is not low budget, it's a very high budget game, but very star gameplay reasons. But those games thrive on their online and gameplay because, you know, the online feels great. Like, it actually feels like, you know, you can actually do something. You're moving freely. You're like walking on air for the most part when you're playing those games online. But in concerns with like back to like EVO, right? Back to EVO, you know? There you go. But with concerns with like EVO and shit like that, EVO has always been like under the guidelines of like what's the best fighting game in the market right now? What are the people, what is our FGC playing nowadays, you know? And for the most part, it's Tekken, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Street Fighter V, you know, those games. And they've been running those games ever since. Like, those are like the AAA budget titles. Those are like the main headliners for fighting games. You know, it makes sense. It makes sense why, like, which I will get to right now. Like, my predicted EVO 2021 like lineup. SF5, Tekken 7, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Guilty Gear Strive as like a new contender. Probably Skullgirls, maybe. Yeah, but like those games in particular, they are not gonna like dip away from them. There's no way that EVO will like you know, take what's the right word? God, I lost my train of thought. EVO is not gonna like go out of their way to like cancel their games because of like poor netcode. If they see, because those are like, you know, traditional games, you know. Sometimes MK11 got like canceled for like one time, but then did it get brought back? Well, I don't know. It could be, maybe. But it was like Mortal Kombat has always been a staple. Street Fighter has always been a staple. Tekken is a staple. You know, Bandai Namco, SNK, all that stuff, right? That's gonna be like a most predictable EVO 2021 lineup. For newcomers, what the heck? Monkus. Monkus 6 feet. 6 feet. What's up, Crazy Spanks? I don't get what that means, but what's up? But yeah, those are like my predicted lineups for the EVO 2021 games. You can only see that if you have better TTV. If you have better TTV, Twitch.tv. I think oh well, I'll probably see that. But anyway, those are like my predicted fighting games. You know, like Street Fighter. Oh, okay, gotcha. Let me close that from here. But those are like my predicted lineups for EVO. Like Street Fighter, Tekken, Mortal Kombat. They could probably do Samurai Showdown. Depends on like SNK, because I think it's still going on. People are still playing that game. Probably Soul Calibur. I think Soul Calibur might have like a good shot, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. That game is like it's on again and off again for me because of like their DLC bullshits. They are done with the season 2. They are done with season 2, so there's no more season passes. Not that I know of. Smash, definitely. Okay. We'll segue into that now about, what's the concerns with the Sony shit about EVO and with Smash. So do not worry, guys. Do not worry. Sony buying EVO or Sony and RTS buying EVO does not mean that Smash is canceled. As what earlier, I think it was Mark Julio that was like saying, EVO is still open to all platforms. The teams at PlayStation and RTS are enabling us to continue working with our community to support fighting games. So that's fine. That's fine, right? That means that like Smash still has like a chance, and obviously that's going to be another predicted outcome of EVO 2021, because even though Smash Online is fucking garbage, even though Smash Online is ball busting donkey tits garbage, people are still playing it. People still play it to this day. It's the most popular Smash title that Smash has ever made. How often do you get like a Smash title that has Sephiroth and Minecraft Steve, duking it out with Pyra and Terry from SNK with Mario, right? That's like meme lorder's dream. That's like meme lorder's dream, chat room, alright? You don't get to see that, often with Smash. But the other thing with like Smash is that one is its online, and two is its community. Mainly because like there were a lot of there were a lot of like allegations that were going around, spreading around the Smash community. I won't say who, I won't say what it is, but basically there was some fucked up shit going on with that community, and it was not a very happy place. Like I remember, I know there's like one going on around, which is, again, I won't say who, but particular guy got into some real shit and made a statement. Well, then again, I won't say who, But yeah, Smash is like a real, it's a weird place. Smash is in a weird place right now, and most importantly, I will say this. I just remembered this. The fucking Slippy mod with Nintendo. That's the other problem that Smash has, is Nintendo going to allow EVO to host Smash. And normally you would think, you know, alright, that's fine, you know. Nintendo allowed EVO to host Smash for Melee, for Smash 4, for Smash Ultimate, you know. That was totally fine back in the days, but now with 2020, things are a little bit, you know, even more fucked up, especially with Nintendo, and mainly because of the Slippy mod, the Slippy mod incident. So what that was, if anybody didn't know, was a modder trying to make Smash Melee Project M, I think it was like Project M, viable for Smash local tournaments. And it was going to have better netcode. It's not going to run like shit. You could run it on like a PC. It's going to have better quality of life improvements. However, Nintendo sent out a cease and desist letter to that particular modder and those tournaments, which is what I talked about with my boys Frank and Ramon when we were when that shit was still relevant. It's half and half. We talked about it in summary. It's allowed that, you know, they have the power to do this, but it's also fucked up for the fans to basically, you know, screw you, this is our game, this is our property, you know, we allow you to have fun. We allow you to have fun with our games, you know? And everybody got so fucking upset, like, you know, there were a lot of, like, on Twitter, you see hashtag free Melee or like free Smash, and, you know, Nintendo was being unresponsive with their fans. I'm sorry to say this, but if you're like a Nintendo stan and if you knew about like the Nintendo stuff, that makes you question of like, wait, why would Nintendo do this to one of their favorite games? You know, that's a little bit fucked up. So this all like EVO stuff depends. This EVO stuff, like, if you want Smash, that all depends on like Nintendo, if they are okay with it. My guess is like probably not. You know, like, the Slippy mod showed us the real limelight of how Nintendo actually freaking works as a company, and as it's trying to like appease fans, as it's like trying to like you know, appeal to us Smashers. You know, like, they kind of think like ass backwards. They kind of think like ass backwards about it. Like, we're using like this hardware that we've been sticking around for so long. They upgrade to new graphic fidelities with like Switch games like High Roll, Age of Calamities, Persona Strikers, you know, all that shit, right? It's the best selling Nintendo title so far. The best Nintendo selling console so far, the Switch. But the Switch's hardware and like how it runs is not very good. It's not very good. Like, I can tell you, like, I had Smash Online matches. They were not fun. They were not fun. And not having good online connections for their games. Yeah, they just, like, Japanese FGC developers, they just have their heads up their ass. Or they're just, like, too very stubborn. Or they're, like 5 years on delay. 5-year delay, if I would, like, call it that. You know, they are the brilliant, most fucking good ass fighting game developers out there. We have Arc System Works, we have Bamco, Capcom, SNK, but some of them really, but you know, really like are behind the times. They're kind of like behind the times, and sometimes they have good foresight and sometimes they don't, which is the sad part. But we're slowly getting to see that now. We're slowly getting to see that now with companies like Arc System Works and SNK having good netcode. Yeah, like with Guilty Gear Strive, you know, they with Guilty Gear Strive, or Guilty Gear for instance, you know, their biggest struggling thing for Guilty Gear players is like the good netcode. You know, they've always had bum-ass frame delay netcode, and that's what suffered the most out of like Guilty Gear as like a fighting game, is because they got bum-ass online. But when Guilty Gear Strive was coming out, and when Daisuke Ishiwatari and the Arc System Works team, or Team Red, that were making the game, that were developing the game, and when they announced that they were going to have rollback netcode, we were like totally shocked and awe. It was like, what? Excuse me? Oh shit. Alright. Oh god, the music, my bad. We were totally like shocked and awe about, you know, Arc System Works adding like rollback netcode, the same rollback netcode that's used in Skullgirls, Marvel Infinite, Killer Instinct. You're gonna put that in the game? And when the first beta came out, which was a closed beta to see how well the online is, it was ass. But when the open beta came around for everybody who owns a PlayStation 4 and a PlayStation 5, it was like, holy shit, this feels like a totally different fucking world. You know, I remember my boy Leo, who we were playing for Smash Pirate Midnight, and he was talking to me about, you know, he was trying out Guilty Gear Strive, right? Since it was, you know, an open beta. And he told me, like, once I tasted the online, it was like, it's too addictive. Yeah, I agreed, it's too addictive. Rollback netcode makes the game fucking fun. It's like you feel like you're playing matches forever, and it's great. You never go back. Rollback netcode on like fighting games is like cocaine or marijuana. You never stop. You don't stop. That's a bad analogy, but fuck, it's addictive. And that's fine, and that's great. I'm sorry, that's great that like Strive is like having these quality of life stuff, and I'm glad to see that it's gonna be part of like EVO, which is what I'll be predicting as well. But yeah, like, it's like online is what we need for fighting games. McDonald's internet codes, yeah. That's like one of the things that were like brought up. I'm sorry, I'm just like reading the chat. Rollback netcode, but some people have McDonald's internet connection codes. Yeah, that's true. Based on like that was like a study that was brought up by Harada-san, Katsuhiro Harada-san of Tekken. He is the manager, the GM of Bandai Namco, and he put out a statistical remark of how many players are playing Tekken 7, and the majority of them are Wi-Fi players. Or most likely, a lot of like the Japanese fighting game roundtable back in like winter, like a few weeks ago, we're saying that, like, you know, a lot of our player bases are about Wi-Fi warriors, and we should like mitigate how to deal with like Wi-Fi warriors, quote unquote, deal with how to mitigate with Wi-Fi warriors, and make them try LAN cables, because LAN cables are what somewhat stabilizes the Wi-Fi aspects, but in a way that's impossible. because it's not easy to like set up like a LAN cable like I have right around here, guys. Right around here, set up like a whole entire spectrum of my LAN cable all the way to my consoles. You know, not a lot of people have that. They are forced to play Wi-Fi, and you know, I wish you all the luck for getting better internet connections, but you know, they gotta deal with what they gotta deal with, you know. Huh. But anyway, let's see, what else is there to talk about with EVO? Yeah, with Smash stuff, I think we already talked about that. Oh yeah, announcements of some kind, because with EVO there's always, you know, crazy hype announcements that will be always on our way. I'm predicting that Strive will get like a DLC trailer of some kind. I'm thinking that they'll do like after Guilty Gear Strive has officially come out in the US or like in all regions on June 13th. And the game, it will be out in like 2 months, so that will be good prep time for EVO 2021 online. There'll be like a DLC trailer for the first season pass, probably something of that nature. The first DLC character, probably like 3 or 4 characters. That's gonna be something. I don't know what Dragon Ball FighterZ would do, because, you know, the game is kind of like quote-unquote done, guys, because the last 2 characters for FighterZ were Baby and SS Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and they're kind of like considered the game-breaking characters. Well, not really game-breaking characters, but I would call them the game-changing characters, because they would do shit that's unlike other characters in the base roster or even Season 1 or Season 2, even with all of their buffs. I think they would like put out a Season 4, because I think that Dragon Ball FighterZ wouldn't necessarily be done. Because if you think about it very carefully, Chad, what's their DLC practice mantra looking to resemble as? Street Fighter. More specifically, Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5. Because Gogeta and Baby just came out. Gogeta and Baby recently came out. They are the game-breaking characters, but they resemble very strongly to some other characters in SF4, or more generally SF5. In SF4, it was Evo, Ryu, and Oni, and then like Ultra Street Fighter 4 came out with extra new characters like the Capra and the Street Fighter Cross Tekken cast. In Street Fighter 5, they released Gil and Seth for Season 4, but even then, Capcom announced a Season 5 for SF5, making it their quote-unquote final season, and the game's not even done yet until SF6 comes around in like summer of 2022. So I don't think FighterZ isn't necessarily done. But like that's under ArcSys. Would ArcSys like do something else, like a Persona Striker, or someone like chatting and like saying Persona 5 Arena Ultimax? I wouldn't say. I doubt that. They'll probably focus a little bit more on DNF, Dungeon Fighter Online, since that game recently came out in like a D&D, Dungeon and Duel conference that came out a few months ago. They're probably gonna like, after FighterZ is done, they're still gonna work on Guilty Gear, but Guilty Gear is under Team Red. But what Arc System Works is gonna do next is Arc System Works is gonna do the DNF. That's my prediction for Arc System Works. I don't know about Tekken though. Tekken would be like a wild long shot. They'll probably I think like for Tekken, what would they do for Tekken? They just announced the character teaser for the Polish Prime Minister. I forgot what her name was, but Harada teased her at the Fighting Game Roundtable. I don't think they will. I think they will do like a season 5. I think they would do a season 5. I think Harada would be like that type of man who would like joke around, you know, like is Tekken 7 over? Then maybe they would pull out, you know, Tekken 7 season 5, and that would be considered the last season. Probably going the same route. Probably going around the Street Fighter 5 route. Tekken 8 would be like a long way out. I mean, we already have the PS5, but the PS5 just came out in like December or November, and new hardware is still being figured out. So it's probably going to take them a little bit of time to make Tekken 8. How much time? I do not know. But Tekken is like the wild card, I would say. Capcom would definitely do something for season 5 of Street Fighter. Probably showcase the fan requested character Akira from Rival Schools. So she's gonna have like a gameplay trailer. That's gonna be something. Probably something like that. That's gonna be obvious for Capcom. SNK is most likely going to be a character trailer again, but with something more hype. Probably like a fan requested character that's been around KOF for the longest time, you know, outside of Terry, because his shit has already come out. What would I guess for like KOF 15 for a new character or a new team? I would say maybe Rugal. I want to say Rugal, but I know that's not gonna happen. I know that's not gonna happen. Maybe like Geese or like Team Southtown. Team like Southtown Ruler. You know, but that's like for SNK. Probably NetherRealm would like show off something, because there were like leaks and reports circulating around about another addition to Mortal Kombat 11. This one was like I don't know who, but it was like Deathstroke, and then Ermac, and then Smoke. I think it was like Orlando that brought that up. But yeah, Mortal Kombat 11 would not be very surprising, but I could try to see that, since we haven't heard anything else from MK11 other than just like weekly Twitch tournaments on for PlayStation or some shit like that. And Ed Boon or like I think someone said that like MK11 isn't over, like it's not officially over, you know, something like that. Something like that, you know? So I can see NetherRealm making a new addition to Mortal Kombat 11. I could see that. As for what else would I expect from... I'm just like looking at the other chats. I'm looking at like Crazy Spanks' older message. Arxis just said that on Twitter that they're delaying it to September the 5th. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. And then I see the Kappa next to it. I'm like, I see you. I see you. Alright. But that's what I like hope for announcements. That's why I like hope for announcements. Oh, probably something for Grand Blue Versus, maybe. Yeah, I could see something definitely for Grand Blue Versus. they're not yet done with that game yet. They just revealed a gunner homie called Eustace. He looks really fucking dope. He's like a gunsmith or some shit like that. I don't know who the fuck he is. I don't know what the fuck what furry ass kingdom he's from. He's got cat ears, but goddamn does he look cool. I hope he plays cool. Maybe if he looks cool or if he plays cool, that will get me enough to buy Grand Blue. But I can see Grand Blue definitely happening. And yeah. Now, as for now the bigger question is, you know, do you think that like EVO 2021 will give way to like, you know, do you want to have online or do you want to have local? Or like local or open, because EVO has thrived on, you know, the open spectacle of like the hype matches, the final top 8s, the top 8 days, you know, the exhibition matches, you know, stuff like that. We love seeing, you know, the waves of crowded people just smushed together just to watch two homies on like, let's say a Marvel stage and just like duke it out, right? Do you think that it will give way to like more online stuff? That's hard to tell. That's hard to tell because EVO community really wants to have like the crowd back. I feel like I didn't think that they would do like the online scenario a little bit because even though online is safe, it's secured, it's good, but you can't best online with some of the fighting games that, you know, I like mentioned, like Street Fighter and Tekken and those shits, because they don't have good netcode. Even though with like some of the netcode updates, like making it like 4 frames instead of 8 frames, and inherently 8 frames. Now it's inherently 4 frames. It's not enough. It's not enough, I would say. But yeah, I think that like wraps up for like my EVO talk. Oh yeah, one more thing. It's about like the other companies. I know we talked about Nintendo, but what about the other stuff like Microsoft? What about the other stuff like Microsoft, aka Killer Instinct? Is Killer Instinct going to be back? Not probably as a mainline, but probably like a side tourney for KI, something like that. You know, but again, this whole like EVO partnership with Sony doesn't mean like it's exclusively Sony or anything like that. It just means that like they're partnering with each other and not making like exclusive games. They're still putting out like the same shit that they've always ran every year, and nothing is going to change about that. Nothing is going to change about that. The only problem is like Nintendo, because Nintendo is a real iffy one. But I pretty much said that. But anyway, I hope to see like EVO 2021. I hope to see it like fully flesh out and come through. I would not see it like canceled. I would like to see it like come back because you know, last year was just all about, you know, the singles and multis. Like we had like an absence of like new fighting game material that's been happening in 2020. We wanted to like play games that take us away from the COVID nightmare, but in absence of like the fighting games. But now 2021 is looking a little bit brighter. We're getting some vaccines. We are rolling out some stuff, but you know, it's still kind of hard to tell. That's all I can. I mean, that's all I could like think of. But anyway, yeah, that's like EVO 2021. Hell is this? Smash Bros. To still say Smash garbage online. What the fuck? Nintendo garbage higher-ups. The Smash is safe, but the kids aren't. What the fuck is all these tweets? Man, what the hell is going on? Anyway, alright, so that's the EVO talk I wanted to like discuss. I know it was a little bit scrambled. I know it was a little bit hectic. A lot of misinformed thoughts and lines. I had like a perfect line about it this afternoon, but man, I was just like scrambling for information. But anyway, I think that's it. So let's bring this back.